Hello and welcome to today's Worlds 2022 Finals Preview video where we're going to look at both junglers and look at all the games they've played against each other because both are from the LCK, so there's a lot to look at. Down in the description we have 3 links: Twitter, Discord, YouTube memberships. Twitter, follow me there. Discord, join us. There's like 350 of us there. And then YouTube memberships, $3 a month, supports the channel. $10 a month, supports the channel, you get extra content. The only league content in the short term will be my finals prediction. Otherwise, it'll be till January until there's more members only league content if the channel is alive that long. And then, you also get NFL American football content in the meantime if that can hold you over. Now, let me make sure I'm recording. I am, so that's good. First step accomplished. Now, Oner and Pyosik haven't played quite as much as Zeus and Kingen have. We have 9 games here. All of them were won by T1, so there's no need to go over winners and losers. But similar to yesterday's when we went over Zeus and Kingen, we have a player that's a little, more experienced versus somebody that isn't as experienced. The first time Oner and Pyosik play, I would say Pyosik did fine. He actually had the edge on him in farm overall, 0.8 CS per minute more between the two games, even though T1 won. And they had played the opposite sides of the same matchup in summer 2021, Nidalee, Viego. In game 1, Oner would get the better end of it, obviously. I mean, winning both games. They're going 3-1 and 4, 22.7% damage, would take 5 objectives, 1350 pretty much gold lead at 15 minutes. 15 minutes according to Games of Legend. On the other side, though, Pyosik 225, 18-9, 3 objectives. I mean, Pyosik did his job, and in Game 2, we had a flip of the matchup. Oner going 205, but down 70 CS. Pyosik playing the Nidalee a lot more efficiently, getting a lot more farm, getting up in gold, 650. Not as much as Oner was on the Nidalee, but the XP difference was huge, 1783. That's probably the result of a Rift Herald at minimum. But Pyosik was also up 43 CS at 15 minutes, which says he just farmed his face off and didn't care. He was farming till 6, right? And beyond that, pretty much. I mean, 29% of the team's damage versus 10% of the team's damage on Viego for Oner. That's a lot more impactful. How much stock are we really putting in 2021? Not much, but it's nice to look at. In spring 2022, Oner would play, out of the 4 matchups, played Viego 3 times. He played Diana the first time they played in spring, the first round robin. Overall, he would go 18, 5, and 29, which is pretty solid. We saw yesterday that T1 had definitely blown out DRX when we compared Zeus and Kingen's KDAs. Oner getting ahead in farm in every matchup. In the Diana game, actually being up 82 CS. That game was the only game he really dealt a ton of damage, though. Really looking at both, it was a split when it came to damage share. Pyosik playing not quite as carry-oriented champions, playing Xin Zhao twice, Volibear, and J4, and still finding a way to go 10, 17, and 15. Yeah, 10, 17, and 15. And that's the thing with Pyosik. I view Pyosik more as a carry-oriented jungler. That's why the Graves and the Kindred we've seen at Worlds become so impactful. That is his, meta. That's Pyosik's strong suit. Not necessarily Xin Zhao, Volibear, J4, Poppy, which we'll get into, and, the like. When it came to damage share, like I said, they alternated like we see in the first round robin. In the first round robin, Oner had more damage share in both games, and then in the second round robin of spring, Pyosik had the edge. At 15 minutes, you see this here as well. Like, there's a lot of red in the game 1 and game 2 of the first round robin. Game 2, Oner went 7-1 and 4, had a 1385 gold advantage in game 2. Like, that's huge. That's massive. 23 farm. This follows a 25 farm edge. So in that meta, when they were playing Viego Diana, he was getting ahead, which makes sense. You're against a J4, a Xin Zhao. You're going to outfarm them. You're going to do more. You're going to affect more. Obviously, getting more objectives. I feel like the objective stat was kind of bogus. I probably shouldn't have done it only because obviously Oner's going to get more. T1's going to get more because they, they won the games. Of course, they're getting more objectives. Seldom are you probably going to win games getting less objectives. But we see there's a lot more red here, though, because even when Pyosik was ahead at 15 minutes in the laning phase of these games, in the second round robin, he was only up 144 gold, 248 gold. I mean, he had a 500 XP edge in one game. That might be because of a Rift Herald, but really he is not getting super far ahead. But he is closer to Oner than King and to Zeus, as we saw yesterday. Now, when it comes to summer, this matters a lot more, right? Although it's not the same meta, we can draw some inferences from those games to try and look at, what went on between these two teams, right? And we saw Kingen get completely run over, like I said. Now, this was when, actually, one second, in spring, game 2 of the first round robin, Oner would steal an objective, just a minor thing that I wrote down that I forgot to go over. And that I noticed that because in game 1 of the first round robin of summer, Oner would steal 2 objectives and then steal 1 in the second round robin of game 1. But Juhan comes in the second round robin and actually subs in for game 2 of the series, which they would then lose anyways. And I've always said Pyosik's better than Juhan. I don't know why they went after Juhan, and frankly, I don't know why. Juhan probably makes more money as a sub in the LCK than he did in the PCS as a starter, but that's a thing. So Oner, Lee Sin, Viego, Poppy, between these 3 games went 15, 1, and 20. That's pretty damn dominant, right? 42 CS lead, not quite getting as big of a lead. It's surprising, actually. The Lee Sin is the one that opened up such an advantage over a Hecarim. And we'll get into why. I watched all 3 of these laning phases to figure out what the teams were doing, what the junglers were doing. So 13.7 damage, 17.8, and 10. I mean, when we were in summer, it was pretty it was pretty clear that jungle was in a dog meta. It was not getting more than 15% damage. When it was not the norm. I mean, we saw Kanavi doing it. We saw some players able to play carries at times, but playing carries regularly was not the way. You saw Lee Sin, Viego in the beginning, but then we saw in the second round robin, second half of summer, Poppy, Trundle, Sejuani, that sort of stuff. When Oner was in laning phase, he was active, going 1 for 3 in his ganks, or ganks, if you will, in game 1 on the Lee Sin, 2 for 4 in game 2, and then 0 for 2 on the Poppy in game 1 of the second round robin. So what did I consider a successful gank? Getting a kill. I know there is a minor victory in getting a summoner. There is a minor victory in pushing somebody off of a wave. You may be able to create pressure, get them to recall. Maybe you drop a herald off of it and you take the turret and all of a sudden you got a ton of gold. That's more than a kill even. But like I said yesterday, I wish I had a stat for jungle proximity and the gold return on doing so. But nevertheless, we don't have that stat. So Oner overall between these 3 games goes 3 for 9. So he's active. Making things happen. At 15 minutes between these 2 players, slight gold lead for Pyosik in 2 of the 3 games, actually, 250 and 320 respectively. Very close in all 3 games. It's actually surprising that Oner's Lee Sin was able to open up such a lead in this one game, given that he was only up 1 farm at 15 minutes. I mean, it really meant that Pyosik took a backseat and stopped farming on the Hecarim. He played a Hecarim in the first game against Lee Sin, played a Poppy, played a Xin Zhao. The Hecarim was where it was at. That's the type of champion that Pyosik probably can play. and well, make more of an impact than his Xinjiao or Poppy, because overall he went 2-11-7, and 2-3-5 of that 2-11-7 was on the heck rim in a game that he went 4-for-4 in the early game. So, Oner attempted 3 plays, going 1-for-3 in that one. Pyosik 4-for-4. When he is on something that can really, really get after it, I think Pyosik is in a good spot. Is he as good as Oner? Probably not. But I do believe that if you give him Graves, you are giving him an opportunity back into this game. His kindred, as we've seen, that's his namesake. He has performed at a high level on it. When it comes to damage share, Pyosik really playing, a very, very, very supportive role. 11%, 10%, 10.6%. Not a lot of damage coming out of Pyosik, even on the heck rim. And yeah, 4-for-4 in that heck rim game, and then 0-for-2 and 0-for-2. So his ganks were not as successful as Oner's in game 2 and game 1 of the first round robin and the second round robin. Did that really earn him benching? Probably not. Going 0-5-1 on Xinjiao might have done it for the coaching staff, but frankly, good thing they righted the ship now, because can't emphasize that enough in this video. Pyosik is better than Juhan. So, going that way made sense. But, it's going to be an interesting matchup, right? Because Oner's probably more so going to play the Viego, the Lee Sin, because he's so very good on the Lee Sin. And Pyosik's going to be on the Graves, and he's going to maybe be on the Maokai. I could see either one playing Sejuani. Those kind of champions seem to be the one. I'm sure I'm missing some, but the Vi has to stay away. The Vi stinks. Whoever picks Vi is probably losing the game. I'm dead serious. Vi is so awful. And really, I think at this point, it's disingenuous to say DRX doesn't have a chance in this. Especially, as somebody that is on the record, and I said this yesterday, and I said it before, I didn't think DRX was going to get this far pretty much every step of the way. So now I'm at a point where the impossible could happen. So, and it's not even impossible. I think that they have a legitimate shot at this. So, that's a thing. So, comment down below with your opinions on how this matchup might go. If you are a fan of one of these teams, make sure you include that in the comments, because that is an important factor into why you think the things you do. So, like the video if you like it, subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content, follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, become a YouTube member, and once again, thank you for watching.